Attention is a crucial element in acquiring wisdom and understanding. Active listening enhances the absorption of knowledge from various sources. Diligent study, symbolized by focusing on a book, is essential for comprehension. Applying acquired knowledge transforms information into practical wisdom. The synthesis of attention, listening, study, and application leads to comprehensive understanding. Wisdom is the ultimate goal of focused learning and practical implementation. The scene emphasizes the preservation of reflection and science. Careful consideration of knowledge is central to the scene's theme. Thoughtful communication is represented through the careful enunciation of words. Reflection symbolizes the deep contemplation of ideas and concepts. Science represents the systematic pursuit and articulation of knowledge. The scene aims to visually connect reflection, science, and thoughtful communication. The allure of temptation is visually represented through the imagery of honey dripping from lips. Honey symbolizes the initial sweetness and attraction associated with forbidden desires. The dripping honey visually suggests a tempting and irresistible offer. This imagery evokes the initial appeal and sensory pleasure linked to temptation. The visual metaphor of honey represents the seductive nature of perverse woman. Initial sweetness is represented by a substance resembling honey. The sweet substance undergoes a transformation, gradually becoming bitter. The bitter substance is now represented by wormwood. This transformation symbolizes the shift from initial pleasure to eventual bitterness. The bitterness represents the negative consequences of succumbing to temptation. The initial allure of sweetness can lead to unforeseen and unpleasant outcomes. A downward sloping path symbolizes a descent. Infidelity leads to a destructive outcome. The path represents the consequences of choices. The descent signifies death and destruction. The scene visually portrays the dangers and finality of infidelity. Deviation from a righteous path can lead to a loss of fulfillment. Infidelity represents a significant deviation from a committed relationship. The winding road symbolizes the unpredictable and often negative consequences of straying from moral principles. A fulfilling existence is often characterized by adherence to a consistent and virtuous path. The path of life requires constant navigation to avoid detrimental deviations. Choosing a righteous path supports long-term well-being and stability. Wise counsel is valuable for guidance and instruction. Attentive listening is essential for receiving and understanding guidance. Guidance and instruction provide direction and clarity. Seeking counsel enhances decision-making and problem-solving abilities. Ignoring wise counsel can lead to unfavorable outcomes. Distancing oneself from temptation involves proactively moving away from dangerous locations. This action symbolizes the avoidance of harmful situations. Proactive avoidance is a key strategy for maintaining well-being. By creating physical distance, one reduces exposure to potential harm. Strategic withdrawal minimizes the risk of succumbing to negative influences. The loss of honor is visually represented by the transfer of a precious object. Years of virtue and integrity are symbolically surrendered. Cruelty is personified as a menacing figure, looming and dominant. Infidelity results in the devastating transfer of precious values to destructive forces. This exchange symbolizes the consequences of betrayal and the corruption of moral principles. Infidelity can lead to the depletion of one's financial resources. Strangers consuming wealth symbolizes the financial burdens resulting from betrayal. Financial losses can manifest as resources being siphoned off by external forces. The act of infidelity can create opportunities for others to exploit one's assets. Betrayal can result in a gradual erosion of one's financial stability. Poor choices often lead to physical and emotional anguish. The consequences of infidelity can manifest as long-term suffering. The deterioration of the body symbolizes the internal pain and regret. Emotional distress can have tangible, physical manifestations. Regret is a heavy burden that weighs down the spirit. The path to healing requires confronting the consequences of one's actions. Rejection of instruction is symbolized by a closed ear, visually representing a refusal to listen. Dismissing reproaches is shown through a hand making a gesture of denial or rejection. Ignoring wise counsel and guidance leads to folly, a state of imprudence and lack of understanding. The act of disregarding instruction results in a path divergent from knowledge and understanding. Folly is the consequence of neglecting the value of advice and correction. Disregarding guidance from teachers and instructors can lead to negative outcomes. The rejection of wisdom often results in missed opportunities for growth and learning. Ignored voices fade into the background, symbolizing the loss of valuable perspectives. The consequences of dismissing experienced advice can manifest as obstacles and setbacks. Rejecting mentorship can hinder personal and intellectual development. Infidelity can lead to significant social and personal devastation within a community. The breakdown of trust is a core element in the misfortune caused by infidelity. Social isolation is a common consequence for individuals involved in infidelity. The spread of negative information can amplify the impact of infidelity on a community. Personal devastation often manifests as emotional distress and psychological turmoil. The consequences of infidelity extend beyond the immediate parties involved, affecting the broader social fabric. A pure water source symbolizes fidelity within marriage. Clean, refreshing water flowing freely represents the purity of a faithful relationship. The water source provides sustenance, mirroring the support within a faithful marriage. The clarity of the water reflects the transparency and honesty essential in a marital bond. The continuous flow of water symbolizes the enduring nature of a faithful commitment. The water's purity is analogous to the unblemished trust and devotion in a marriage. Marriage involves sharing and abundance within defined boundaries. Sharing and abundance are visualized as controlled streams. Controlled streams represent the appropriate expression of love and intimacy. Proper boundaries ensure that sharing remains healthy and balanced. The concept of overflow is contained within the marital bond. Sharing and intimacy are expressed appropriately within the marriage. Marital intimacy is exclusive, designed to be shared solely between spouses. The blessings associated with marital intimacy are intended for the husband and wife alone. This exclusivity fosters a unique bond and strengthens the marital relationship. The shared cup symbolizes the exclusive nature of marital intimacy, a blessing reserved for two. The marital source being blessed symbolizes divine favor and support for a faithful marriage. Radiant light signifies the divine blessing bestowed upon the marital union. The blessing represents a spiritual bond and commitment within the marriage. Faithfulness in marriage is supported by divine grace and guidance. Joy and delight are found in cherishing one's spouse. Symbols of love and affection represent the marital bond. The marital relationship thrives on mutual appreciation and enjoyment. Cherishing the marital relationship is of paramount importance. Love and affection are essential components of a joyful marriage. The scene explores the question, why desire an outsider when marital love is present? This involves a comparison between two distinct paths, one leading to light and fulfillment, the other to obscurity and potential regret. Marital love is visualized as a source of warmth and stability. The allure of an outsider is represented as a path shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. The concept illustrates that all actions are observed, highlighting accountability for choices. Every path represents a different course of action, each leading to distinct outcomes. The all-seeing eye symbolizes divine awareness, emphasizing that no action goes unnoticed. This perspective underscores the importance of moral decisions and their ultimate consequences. The visualization depicts a wicked being ensnared in a self-made web. This symbolizes the concept of individuals being trapped by their own sinful actions. The self-made web represents the consequences of one's negative behaviors. The entrapment illustrates the inevitable outcome of sinful behavior. The visual metaphor conveys the idea that actions have repercussions. The scene serves as a symbolic representation of karmic consequences. Death, in this context, symbolizes the ultimate consequence of a lack of instruction and great foolishness. Rejecting wisdom and embracing folly leads to a path of destruction and inevitable demise. Ignored warnings serve as visual metaphors for the rejection of knowledge and guidance. The path to darkness represents the consequences of neglecting wisdom and embracing ignorance. The scene visually portrays the death of potential and the loss of opportunity due to a lack of learning. Marital fidelity is visually represented as a source of life and joy. This contrasts with earlier imagery depicting temptation and destruction. Faithfulness leads to positive outcomes and a thriving relationship. The visual metaphor emphasizes the rewards of commitment and trust. Fidelity is depicted as a foundation for enduring happiness and stability. The scene contrasts the paths of wisdom and folly, representing distinct life choices. Choosing the path of wisdom leads to life and blessings. The path of folly results in negative consequences. The visual metaphor emphasizes the importance of making informed decisions. Each path is marked with symbolic indicators of its respective outcome. The overall message highlights the profound impact of choices on one's destiny.